Ready?
Hello, and welcome to Rhythm and Pixels, a video game music podcast. This is episode 36-3. And we're your hosts. My name is Rob Nichols.
And I'm back on the wheels of steel.
Whoa, love that energy. Every week. Love that energy for now.
I'm taking it from up deep.
Every week we listen to great video game music from all consoles and all generations. We pick a topic, we pick some music, we pick some guests, and we have a good time listening to it. This is what happens when we start earlier in the day.
No, it's not. I'll explain in a minute once you've introduced the guest, but no, it's not.
Well, let's just get into it right away then. Our guest... you may know him from me saying his name at the end of every episode. It's Christopher Shenstrom, host of Gameable Audio, the VGM podcast. Chris, how's it going?
Hello, everybody. Welcome. Thank you so much. It is an absolute honor to actually guest your podcast for once.
Oh,
I've been listening to it for quite some time and listening to some of the live versions as well. Definitely one of my favorite VGM podcasts that I'm listening to.
Thank you so much.
Also one good inspiration to my own. So,
I didn't know that. That actually is nice to hear.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining us. Like, the idea came about to have you on the show. It's like, oh, that's a no-brainer.
Yeah.
Come on the show.
Sometimes I feel weird, like our show, like people tune in, but like, oh, maybe it's more academic, and we'll learn about music and about games, and we're like talking about like TV shows and stuff.
But let's be honest, though, people
candy.
But I'll be honest, though, people do. I think at least people still do learn about games on the show because I think it's safe to say we talk about a lot of games that aren't commonplace at all.
No, that's true. Yeah, and you discover a lot of them. But so Chris, so your show is called Gameable Audio. You're based out of, is it Sweden, right?
yes, correct.
That's right. So we got a big time difference here, which is interesting.
Definitely. 6 hours difference.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about your game experience. Like, what do you love about it, and your musical experience as well? Like, what do you bring into the table?
No, the most interesting thing about this, first of all, I started gaming when I was quite young. I would say around 7 years old. I'm born in 88, so I'm 35 years old today, this year. And I started when I was about 7 years old. One of the first ones I started getting into is the original Super Nintendo 8-bit. Nintendo 8-bit, and then the Super Nintendo after that. But the time for me with the Nintendo was quite short, so Super Nintendo is actually the one that I have closest to my heart. And basically from there, I kind of went over, because of my half-brother who's 8 years older, I got quite early into PC. And I'm kind of the PC master race, but I love all different generation of consoles as well. Yeah. So it's just amazing just getting it.
It's always fun to me to see like the retro PC games now becoming like its own retro thing. Like Doom and SimCity and all these classic ones I used to really enjoy playing as a kid. I'm like, oh wait, that's not retro, right? That's on a computer, but no, it's
it's very, very
it's
retro.
Very, very much retro now. Yeah.
Also, I think it's nice.
Definitely.
Like, I wasn't much for PC for a long time, but now with the Steam Deck in my house, suddenly like I spend more time playing PC games than console. It's gotten very, very strange. But it's really interesting to hear. So you said you went from pretty much Super Nintendo. Not to say you didn't play other console games at all, but you went pretty much from Super Nintendo to like, nope, PC is where the place to be now.
Yeah.
So what are some of your favorite PC games then?
My favorite PC games. Oh my god, there's so many. First of all, I'm a huge fan of the Diablo series, for example.
Oh, you're ready for 4?
That so freaking much. I'm definitely ready for 4. I was a bit skeptical to it because I was skeptical to Diablo 3. Still, I completed everything on one of the few that 100%ed all achievements on PC, which was crazy. A lot of freaking time went into that, but yeah, I'm happy. I'm honored myself. But yeah, definitely. I tried the beta, and it looks very promising, in my opinion. So I'm super excited for it.
That's good to hear.
You do some streaming too, right? I see your Twitch pop up a lot on our Discord. So
yes.
Is this something you do like a lot for fun or for what?
No. I'll do it mainly,
I hate
for fun. I kind of theoretically want to go in and actually do it. Not full-time, because I love being a game developer as well, because that's kind of what I'm doing on a daily basis. I work with games. But on the side, I really like to inform people, and I want to educate myself. And that is one of the main things about me. I'm a multi-genre type of gamer. I don't like playing just one simple type of game.
That's the way to be.
Exactly, and considering inspirations and so on, especially what Pernell said, like early in the episode about it's like how many people are listening to the music or about the things we're talking about, and let's just say the reason why I bought Monster Tale is you, Pernell.
Really, this? See, that's what I'm.
Yes,
informative, Rob. I told you. I
didn't doubt you. I just made fun of you.
See, that's why I got to clarify harder.
No, but I'm really buying what Pernell was saying there, because for me, listening to music is very special to my heart, because when I grew up, I never really listened to the video game music playing when I was playing, because when I was growing up, my parents did not like listening to video game music. They were more like the Christian type and saying like, "Oh, this sounds like the devil's music."
Yeah, turn the audio. Yes, you can play, but turn the volume down. Right.
Exactly. So I always listen to the mainstream music that they usually played on radio and so on. So for me, it was basically like I would say about 13 years ago when I started diving deeper into video game music, and just going back like 8-9 years, I started getting more interest about the composers themselves, and that's kind of the unique selling point for what I have with my podcast. And when I'm streaming, I'm very educational about the games themselves, how development works, and so on. So that's what I like to do.
Yeah,
I like to educate people.
But then one thing I wanted to ask about, out of curiosity. And then I'll mention the thing from before because music is a good segue to why what's going on. So you mentioned the idea of wanting to potentially do the live streaming more so on a full-time level. Do you ever feel as though that despite the enjoyment of informing people and such, that going full-time might take away some of the passion because now you're beholden to like a lengthy schedule where you have to be playing as opposed to where you want to be playing?
I mean, theoretically, when you're going into something full stream, it's going to become a job. And having it as a job is, of course, research and development. And that comes into everything, I would say, no matter what you're working with. For me, just doing the podcast is almost like a half-time job. Because going into and actually providing information, I'm very thorough in trying to provide the correct information. And there's so much information out on the internet. It's crazy.
That's right.
And I think you guys can agree on that as well.
Yeah, absolutely. We do a lot of research.
Well, hey, every once in a while, don't get me wrong, we do sometimes. But I also acknowledge that if we went as hardcore as, like, say, you do on the research level, it would get rough because... Not to mention, not just that there's information out there, but there's a lot of incorrect information out there too.
There is.
So you got to sift through that.
Especially with older music, I found that when much older game music was originally ripped, it was probably people speculated on what the name of that song was or who the exact composers were and this and that.
Yeah.
And of course, because it was written maybe 20, 30 years ago, that information persists throughout time.
Yeah.
So that's really interesting when that gets updated to me. On our show, I like to consider us more like music appreciation.
Yes, music, game, and fun appreciation.
Yeah, like a listening party. Like you're hanging out with friends, listening to music, and you're discovering new stuff along the way.
Which is also why we like to tell little world anecdotes, because deep down, I like hearing when other people have anecdotes as well about themselves. Like, oh yeah, this happened to me too in regards to X game. It's like, yeah, see, we're all kind of communicating about our experiences together. It's part of what makes it fun, you know?
Well, you said you feel like your podcast is like a half-time job. So tell us about Gameable Audio.
Yes.
What can our listeners, the critical points about your show?
I mean, the critical point about this podcast is basically putting the composers in the spotlight. That is like the unique selling point. And I will make sure to at least every second episode right now is going to have either somebody working with composition, working third party for sound or design, or making like bit tune music, like working as an artist.
Right.
So anything that is kind of related to what game music is or what it kind of became with the subgenres. So considering all the episodes I even did when I had the Swedish version of the podcast, because I kind of recently went over to do it on English to reach a wider audience. And I mean, I have, I think it's 157 episodes or something like that. And every fourth episode was always invited with a composer working for real.
Yes. So I like the sound of that, too.
That's good. And to get that perspective rather than just us just listening and speculating on like what was going on. It's good. It's good. Especially listening to them talk about their work in the modern day as well. The tools available are so much more conducive towards creative work maybe than it was in the past, where people were writing strictly in code and hoping for the best, or writing music and then just not knowing what was going to get used or not. But anyway,
and also getting the other perspective from a composer. I mean, how hard it is, how competitive the market is. It's crazy.
Oh, it's got to be so much more competitive now. Yeah.
Also, just on a whim, since you're featuring composers here, you might want to consider Grant Kirkhope pretty soon if you can get him, because
yes,
I only came across it this morning, but apparently the Donkey Kong rap is featured in the Mario Brothers movie.
Oh, yeah?
And they did a thing where Seth Rogen was like talking about, because he's doing Donkey Kong's voice, and he's like, I learned that my character comes out to this, which is objectively probably the worst rap song in history. And like Grant Kirkhope is like through the moon about the fact that like Seth Rogen's talking about his song and how it's in the movie. It's like a good time to be like, hey, just get Grant Kirkhope on the show.
Yeah. He's going to blow up. That's what's going to happen.
It's been nuts.
We'll be recording this episode on April 1st. It's cool that like that's a real thing.
Yes, yeah, it actually did happen.
Because everything on the internet right now is not.
So I should mention something before I pass out, by the way, so you'll know what's going on with me, and it's related to music too. So Rob already knows because I've started using the social medias again recently, but lightly. But yesterday I went to the gym, and I was very tired and bloated. I had like half a calzone for lunch. I was done, and I went to work out. I put in like a good 30 minutes, and I got like 500 calories burned off, and I was pretty much laying on the floor tired. But I was like, I can get a little bit more. Maybe I can get to 600 calories instead of 500. And the trainer goes, well, we can put whatever music you want on since you're the last person in here. And I was like, okay, put on Cold Steel 2 battle themes, please. And he goes, what? I was like, yeah, it's on YouTube. Just go find it. So he goes and he puts the music on, which is like a long string of like battle tunes from Cold Steel 2. And I just exploded. I got an extra 500 calories in like 20 minutes. I was doing like running, mountain climbers, push-ups. I had a thing going where I called it like a sort of like an overdrive thing where like I ran up on the bag that was kind of like horizontal, and I would punch it at an angle and keep it in the air with my fists for over a minute, like, and it would just stay up. Order. And then like I did the same thing with a hanging bag, but doing roundhouse kicks. So like I'd roundhouse kick as hard as I could, and when the bag's coming back down, I'd like reposition myself to do it again, and just keep the bag in the air, and then I'd switch.
FalKkone music is keeping you fit.
Yeah, it did a lot. Like it's shocking how much more I put out because I was playing. Because at the time he put that on, I thought I was done. I was exhausted, and we got to talking afterwards about how I was like, "See, you should be putting this kind of music on the gym." He's like, "But people won't work out to this. They want music they can like sing to or they can relate to." It's like I can't relate to half of the music you've got, and I still work out to it. I'm telling you, it's all tempo and just sound. They don't care what it is as long as they can move to it, but. People don't know that. I got to figure out a way to get people to realize it. Like, just have a VGM day. Like, hey, just put this OST on.
Some places they use an app called Rockbot.
That's what they use. They use Rockbot, and sometimes they use like a curated list that they've created.
Yeah, but what you can do, and like the old gym I used to go to, is you can go in and it would your phone would recognize that it was being run at this place, and you can actually control it yourself.
Ooh.
So whoever would show up could actually be the DJ. But not many people knew about that. So it would just be playing like top 40 hits or whatever, and then I would walk in, and then just it would be drum and bass for like an hour.
I might have to mess around with that, see if I can make it shift.
I'm like, it was just kind of fun. It was only not everything was available, but it was mostly whatever could be played through Spotify could just end up being on the radio in the gym. But I mean, I don't think they would have that at a Planet Fitness, but at the small little place I used to go to.
That's what I'm saying. The small place I'm at, they might be able to do that.
Yeah, they might too. They might. But your place also has more of like a trainee situation, so it's more hands-on.
But I will say the downside, unfortunately, is like I got home, and I was like, okay, I got a little bit of energy left in me, so I went and started trying to play a game I got to review next week, and I went and got a beverage, and I had some vegetables for dinner, and then next thing I knew, I was on the couch. It was 3 a.m. I was like, how did I get here? Like, I just passed out, and then I went up to bed proper and woke up this morning at like 10:30 to come here.
Yeah.
And I have been dragging all morning.
Hence the sugar in front of us?
No, the sugar is here in honor of our guest. The sugar is in honor of our guest. This is candy that he knows about. He showed me a commercial that is awesome. involved a happy car.
This is Al Green's Beelar.
Yes, this is the most delicious gummy candy. I am of the impression at this point that the Swedes have better candy than we do, with the exception of maybe peanut butter.
Peanut butter, I've been learning, is a very American thing. A lot of places around the world hate it. Can't stand it.
At one point, I was about to say maybe also in chocolate, but then I remembered that we kind of like over-sweeten chocolate.
Yeah.
And actual chocolate is milder, kind of like how these Algrens are. Like, they're not as sweet as some of our gummies, but I like that. Well, it's just the right level.
Okay, let's continue our candy talk later. We need to start talking about our topic. Okay.
But Kris is so fun.
So
wasn't candy the topic again? No.
Candy with Kris.
And I'm hoping I got it right because I've been in and out of the Discord chat and I'm missing a few things, but I think it's plants. We're talking about not living things. We're talking about greenery. We're talking about
hey, depending on it could be plants live. They just recently announced that plants actually scream when they don't get water.
That comes out every once in a while, and people are like, "Oh my god!" And then it doesn't matter. I'll eat my salad and play a tiny little violin for the kale.
Oh, you gotta eat something.
But it's springtime. My garden outside is starting to grow and scream, and my crabapple tree is starting to bloom, and I love
and
that.
Scream.
And so this is a perfect topic. Video game plant life. The digital plants.
The best kind of plant.
Best kind. Yeah. Green Hill Zone. So that's all I got. It's my only song. Kris, we like to have our guests start our show off. Would you like to pick a track for us, and we'll start listening?
Yes, definitely. So the first track I've picked for this topic is actually from Mario Strikers Charged for the Wii game. And the track name is Petey Piranha's theme.
Oh, I like Petey.
All right, we're back. You're listening to the theme of Petey Piranha. Petey Piranha from Mario Strikers Charged Football. The Nintendo Wii.
Petey Piranhason.
The composers on this soundtrack are Mike Peacock, Darren Radtke, and Chad York. And this is laid back. I love this island kind of vibe going on. I'm into it.
I'm confused. Like, we were talking about this a little on the break. So I haven't seen Petey in Mario Strikers Charged.
First of all, is it like canonically his name is Peter?
No, it's Petey Piranha.
Petey Piranha.
Peter Piranhason.
Okay, but a piranha is a fish.
Yeah, but piranha plants are Mario.
I know.
So if anyone who's listening has ever played Mario Strikers or has seen art for Mario Strikers games, you know that Nintendo went with a very aggressive style of art. Harsh colors, all the characters look angry, like they're ready to take down somebody, and they're on the move constantly. So the music generally matches that. It's very, like, hard. So I'm having trouble. Yeah, it's like, how does Petey Piranha come out to this in that atmosphere with that style of art? I am very baffled right now. I love the track, and I'm just confused.
The thing is about Petey Piranha, he's actually walking around in his like small plant base, and he has 2 small feet running around while he has his arm, and he's just chasing people.
Is he wearing cleats like shoes, or is it like little plant feet running around?
Little plant feet, if I remember correctly.
That's adorable.
This was far from my favorite character. Waluigi is my favorite one in this game.
Maybe in honor of the game, he was able to grow thorns like a rose, just for his feet. He made his own cleats.
This is amazing. So yeah, classic video game plant right here. I do like that in the classic Super Mario Brothers that the piranha plant can also be used as a ladder. You know.
Oh yeah, when you get like the vines.
Yeah. So he's also a tool, but I would imagine on the soccer field he would be really difficult. Like he probably doesn't move very well. He probably doesn't. I mean, wait, he doesn't have eyes.
Yeah, he has eyes. You just can't see them.
You just can't see. They're in.
They might be in his mouth.
Oh God, what a monster!
Or maybe he's like a bat. Maybe he goes on echo and so on. He just
echolocation piranha plants.
Yeah.
I can see it. Also, he might be sitting off that weird echo scream so he can get it bounced back to him.
Yeah, and not only when he gets tackled, but if you don't water him, he does scream.
Oh Christ! Petey Piranha.
Considering the enemies in the Mario world, I mean, the Chain Chomp does have eyes, but can hardly find Mario. Piranha Plants does not have eyes, but can clearly see where the hell Mario is every time.
Pretty much.
So eyes is not required, apparently.
Why is there no Chain Chomp when he's on that block? If you're even remotely close to him, he's like lunging for your ass.
Although if you're on top of the pipe, the Petey Piranha does not come out at all. He's like, oh, gotta respect the Mario. Not coming up. Not coming up. That wouldn't be fair.
Well, Petey's a special piranha plant.
Oh, he's special?
He was introduced in Mario Sunshine as a polluting plant. Like, he was just like barfing up like weird ink blots. I'm serious. I'm not even exaggerating that.
That's the opposite of what a plant would be.
Yeah, he was very weird.
That answers my next question. Would he make a good salad?
No, I'm not eating a Petey Piranha salad.
Petey Piranha for dinner, Kris?
No.
No, he's shaking his head. No.
Kris knows, like you're not eating Petey Piranha salad.
What would he taste like?
So gunky.
I was gonna be like, he's probably like a harder, woody plant, like an asparagus.
But he's loaded with like poisonous gunk.
Yeah, so that's not good.
He's like fugu, but a plant.
I mean, he can really take a punch.
Yeah, he can take a punch though.
Yeah, and he can't play soccer.
I'm thinking like he has.
Or hallucinogen. Maybe Petey Piranha punch. There you go. Put some of the leaves in the punch.
All right, let's get away from this island feeling, and we're going to get into Pernell's first track.
Well, my first track has to be a specific one because when the topic came to light, Kris specifically said, well, you got to go with this track, don't you? I'm like, you know what? I guess I kind of do. I have no choice. I have to. So I honored that statement. And my first track for the episode comes from the game Cuphead. It is called Botanic Panic, and it's composed by Kris Maddigan.
I love the tuba ending so much. So much.
And what was that tuba intro ending from? It was from Botanic Panic from the game Cuphead, composed by Kris Maddigan. And this track is featured both in the video game Cuphead and also the cartoon Cuphead, the animated series. I adore the video game proper. Cuphead, the game, it's one of those games where people go to both for fun and also to like flex their gamer chops, because on normal mode it's surmountable, and the actual gameplay mode is stuff that's not easy mode though. Oh, forget it. You're working for those ranks, and it is punishing.
It is one of those games that's like it's good to show off with. Like if you're good at that game, if you know it really well.
Definitely.
I learned that by accident though. Like I was playing it at a friend's house because they were like talking about how they were stuck on certain bosses. I'm like, well, I could play it if you want. Like I wasn't trying to do anything like that. I was just like, I'll help, sure. And we're playing it. And out of nowhere, people come out of the other room like, oh my God, he's doing really good at this game. I'm like, I just wanted to help him get past this section of the game. But they were like calling it show off.
My brother came to visit me last year with his two nieces. They're teenagers now. And she brought her Switch. And she's like, oh, let's play Cuphead. And they're just like struggling through every stage. And I'm like, this is hard.
It's a rough game.
And my brother's like, yeah, it's like Contra. You'll never finish it.
No, with this music, though, this track plays during one of the more approachable boss fights in the game. It's, I don't know if I got the name right. I just call it the Garden Gang. What would you say, Kris?
It is also one of the first bosses that you can get. It's a little bit of an open space in the beginning, so I think it's 3 or 4 different stages you can go to in the beginning, and this is one of them.
Yeah, it's like this guy, this group, and there's like the flower I know of. But like this is like 3 vegetables. Like I said, I don't know what their official name is, so I just call them the Garden Gang.
So what vegetables are we talking about here?
There's a potato,
okay.
There's a carrot, and there's an onion.
Ooh, that's a good salad right there.
No, the heck it is.
That sounds great.
One of those ingredients does not belong in any salad, and if you know who I am, you know what that ingredient is.
It's a potato.
No, you leave those potatoes alone. They're delicious.
Onions belong in salads.
Onions belong in nothing but the bin.
You need that like acidic, like kind of spicy, like crunch.
Garbage.
So good.
A whole lot of it, unless it's powderized, and I'm okay with that. Or in a ring.
Or you can just caramelize it. This is just great.
Yeah, exactly. You can just fry it up and then you can throw it on. We started doing that.
Add two, Kris.
We started using kale with caramelized onions, and we would fry up some potatoes, and we would put that on top of the salad. It's amazing. It's amazing.
I'll stick with my chili peppers and boot jalopy, as I can't do onions, baby, unless it's powdered. I can do a powder or not sun-dried. It was like. There was like that. No, green onions. I can do green onions. I'm okay with those.
The scallion.
Scallion. I'm okay with the scallion.
Yeah.
But we were talking during the break about the cartoon as well. And Kris and I kind of agreed on the fact that the cartoon itself, it's not anything to write home about, but it does get the atmosphere right. It's cool to see the Cuphead characters being animated in cartoon situations, outside of the structured, there's a boss fight, you should shoot that guy. Now it's, why are they trying to sneak onto the Frog Brothers boat to steal some ice cream? That's just something interesting for me to watch. And the fact that they reuse some of the music on the games in the show is fantastic too.
That's great. I do like that. We started watching this week in the morning. Like as I'm getting ready for work and my son's waking up, we're watching The Muppet Show, like the Muppet movies.
Oh, okay.
And this music really reminds me of the really early 80s Muppet movies, like The Great Muppet Caper and Muppets Take Manhattan. And every time they get in the car and they go crazy and it's like,
yeah,
I love that.
And that's exactly what this is meant to invoke.
Yeah, it's a great, it's got, that kind of like madcap, crazy, zany, puppets dancing around.
But we got to put Kris on the spot. I got a question for him.
Okay, Kris.
So we're talking about cartoonized Cuphead. So obviously we came from different sides of the world here, which means we may have been subjected to different animations. But just in case there might be some commonality, I'm going to ask the question. What would you say is two of your favorite cartoons growing up?
Two of my favorite cartoons. One of my definite ones is Sat Am, so Sonic the Hedgehog.
All right, commonality.
The blue streak in there. Yeah. And my second one is, it's kind of a tie in between Pirates of the Dark Water and SWAT Cats.
SWAT Cats. I haven't thought of SWAT Cats in ages. Yeah. Oh, I used to love that show.
And that actually makes me
that was so good
to hear.
That music. I used to love that music, man.
I'm actually really happy to hear that.
I don't know why. I like the darker.
Noijitat. Like, I was expecting him to say something like, because I don't get wrong, it would have been interesting. It was like, oh, here's this cartoon. He's like, I've never heard of that. Tell us more. But the fact that he was like, here are all these cartoons that I love, that we both love, and we watched growing up too, it's like, hey, there it is. Commonalities, baby. I like having that kind of thing
across the world, animated cats and
animated junkyard
and
cats.
Junkyard. Were they junkyard cats?
They were junkyard cats. They literally ran a junkyard.
Okay, yeah, I got you.
If I remember correctly now, they were in police force, but then they kind of didn't like that, so they were kind of doing their own thing. So they started junkyard because then there they could keep everything hidden.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's right. They lived in is it called Mega Cat City?
Mega Cat City.
Mega Cat City. Why do I remember that?
Which always makes me laugh,
There's
too.
also a Super Nintendo game for this.
That's right. There is.
And it's only US.
Of course.
I always laugh when shows do that kind of thing, right? They're like okay, the world is populated by anthropomorphic cats. They live in a city. What's it called? Mega Cat City. Okay, so are you telling me that every city in this world has something related to cats in the title? How many different cities can you have if every city has the word cat or feline or meow in it?
We live in Human Town.
human bird. Human bird.
Homo sapienville.
Just imagine if that was how it was here. It's like, as every town has to have like human or like I don't know, person in it. You know, Wilming person. I don't know. Person Delphia.
Oh, man.
Villa Persinia. I don't know, something.
I know I called out the tuba at the end of the song, but I'll probably loop back around on this again. The vibraphone in the beginning, like towards the beginning, a little vibraphone solo is excellent. Like, this whole soundtrack is great, and every once in a while I keep re-listening to some of these songs. I can hear like different instruments and pick out the different parts that I really, really enjoy. I imagine
I really enjoy the tracks.
There's one composer on this. I don't know if he played with a bunch of other session artists for the soundtrack or if he used software for all the different instruments, but it doesn't sound like software. It sounds like a full big band, you know, in a restaurant somewhere, you know, in the 60s.
It does.
Oh, I guess earlier than that, 30s.
But I really enjoy the King Dice track with vocals. That one is really good.
So with that,
I'm so sad that they didn't use the same singer for the cartoon there.
King Dice. Well, okay, one last question then, in regards to Cuphead. Who's your favorite boss in the game? Do you have one?
I mean, I would say the first shoot 'em up with the girl transforming to a moon.
Okay, yeah, she's pretty awesome.
On my that one is pretty fun because I like the animations of that level. It's so many things happening, and it's just comically fun to play that battle, in my opinion.
Yes.
Considering me, I haven't conquered. I'm actually stuck on the last boss battle in the second section. So I'm stuck on the dragon.
Oh, that's a good one to be stuck on because it took me way too long to beat that boss. My advice, suggestion of a weapon, it may seem off. The lobber. The lobber was how I was able to beat him. The pink, the purple gummy ball thing.
Yeah.
I used
a lot of people recommend the boomerang as well.
Yeah, the boomerang too. It was like, because you can use you can switch between two different weapons. I had the boomerang and the lobber. The boomerang you can throw backwards, and then they come back at him, so you don't have to focus so hard on hitting him directly. And then the lobber is good for when he's like barfing up those, when he's like sitting out the little fire people. You can just keep kind of throwing them without being concerned about what you're hitting or not. And that was a lifesaver for me. My favorite bosses on the game, for the most part, are the Candy Chateau woman, freaking creepy boss. That she is.
Oh yeah, definitely.
She is really creepy. And then the second one being the cat and mouse. You're inside of like a little mouse hole fighting a cartoon cat like Tom and Jerry.
Oh, that's cool.
And like the final form of him is the cat dies and you're fighting the ghost of the cat. It's so weird.
That's so morbid. Like you defeat the enemy and like the ghost of the enemy is still coming after you.
It's total Tom and Jerry, man. It's freaking great.
But you kind of have that early as well when you're meeting that jelly boss.
The jelly boss?
That's giant. Yeah, the rubber boss. In the end, he dies,
the purple ball. The tombstone.
Oh, the tombstone. Right. I've seen a lot. I haven't played this game. I've seen a lot of the playthroughs just to see the bosses.
I feel like you'd have a ball with it.
It'd be my style, but you know. But what the games I'm choosing right now it's very specific. What I can get into in like 10, 15-minute chunks, even more so now than
that was totally that, I think.
Yeah.
Just because you basically start up, you walk to a place, and you immediately fight a boss. Like there's no, okay, I got to build up to this thing, and then when you're done, you're like, I'm turning it off for the day.
I'll tell you what, I can't get any runs in Hades finish. You know, I get so far through, and then I'm like, I gotta go.
Yeah, that's how those runs can take a while.
They take a long time. Yeah. All right. So
exactly.
My first plant track. I don't know why when we came up with this topic, I immediately thought of Mokujin from Tekken 3. He's in a few of the Tekken games. He is the fighter that's made of wood.
Oh, Curly Kevin will appreciate this track choice.
This is from Tekken 3 for the Sony PlayStation, composed by Nobuyoshi Sano and sanodg, which it is a composer. It's just we don't know his real name.
We'll bring that up on the show.
Yeah, no, maybe not.
No, funny.
Maybe not that part. Okay. We're listening to the theme of Mokujin from Tekken 3 for the Sony PlayStation, composed by Nobuyoshi Sano and sanodg. This is so Mokujin is a interesting character. It's a
plant-based character.
Plant-based character. So we only plant-based organic fighting game characters in our video games.
There's that one weird character in Marvel Capcom too. It's like the dancing cactus.
Yeah, they're Amingo.
Amingo,
yeah. So he is a. There's actually a whole story around Mokujin. You think it would just be like a gimmicky character because when you pick the character, it randomly picks another character and then mimics their moveset, and you don't know until you start playing him. But Mokujin is a fighting dummy that was like hit with some mystical fighting power and then brought to life to like defend the forest or something like that. And it's got like he's got his own ending to the game too. Have you seen this?
No, I can't imagine playing the game. I'm assuming his fighting style changes every battle too.
It's so cute. It's Mokujin. It's Mokujin and like a little Mokujin like wife who has got like a little hat on, and she's like always. She goes na 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 na, and he goes okay, and he goes down to the water. It goes down to the river to get like buckets of water, and as he's coming up back out of the river, he sees these two little Mokujin baby kids, and they're playing Tekken on a big wooden like arcade cabinet. And he sees them playing, and he goes, "Oh, exciting!" And so then Mokujin sits down and starts playing Tekken on the cabinet, and then the wife comes and goes, "Da da 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 da," and like uppercuts him.
There's Mokujin, Mokujin,
yeah.
Mokujim, and Mokujo.
Mokujo. Mokujema, Mokugeorge.
Mokujin.
Is this their official names or?
These are the names I am officially giving Mokujin and his family.
This is the Mokujin, the Mokujin, the Friday night sitcom.
So when are we getting this show?
So fun thing about this. We were talking about these Bilar candies, which are made to represent cars, and I was asking Kris if there were any other flavors that existed, which led to us talking about a licorice flavor, which then led to him suggesting do not eat too much licorice because apparently licorice is a laxative, which is an interesting coincidence because there was a thing that came out recently for me regarding Haribo gummies, because I'm a big sucker for Haribo gummies, and my friend, out of genuine concern, warned me against them because he didn't know about something that it was essentially kind of repealed in the States. But Haribo is a Swedish company, but we import a lot of their candies here. And at one point, Haribo had come up with a sort of like it's called a diet gummy bear, but they use a specific chemical for their diet gummies for like a sugar replacement.
Okay.
That end up being like a hyper laxative, not just a normal laxative, hyper laxative.
That's not. Wow. So
like you
wait,
go.
Do you think it was an intentional side effect? Like it's a diet. It's supposed to like clear you out, maybe.
I'm guessing it was people knew about the scientists probably knew about that side effect, but didn't realize that
the gummy
it would be that strong.
The Haribo gummy scientist,
being steamed arts of gummy.
Look, I did 9 years of medical school to become a Haribo gummy scientist.
Well, you gotta remember that like all this stuff is all science, coming up with these like chemical compounds.
Yeah. Food science is fascinating. Yeah,
it's amazing to me. But like. It was if you go on like go on like Amazon right now and look up like some like their diet Haribo gummies or something, you may find people still writing reviews where they was like, I had these and I had an uncontrollable urge to go to the bathroom because of these gummies, and then like I had to go and look into it myself. I was like, okay, yeah, my gummies are safe, friend, so don't worry about it. Apparently they kind of stopped selling those here, so we don't have to worry. But he was legitimately concerned about me in his car eating Haribo gummies.
Oh my gosh. All right, we need to keep this show moving along here. Can we go back to Kris?
Well, that's why we eat Haribo for that.
Yeah, so you can
keep it going.
Keep your mouth gummed up.
Yeah.
So Kris, what's
one way?
Do you have a second track for us?
Yes, definitely do. And this is a special one because I actually know the person, the composer behind this, and I've actually had an interview with this guy as well.
Oh, nice.
Sadly on Swedish, but most likely I will get a return on this guy. But this is from the game Wunderling, and the track name is Eviltronic Tilt by Oscar Rydelius, also known as Ratvader.
Wait a minute, is this that
All right, and we're back. Yeah. We're listening to music. What is that?
Oh, that was me. Tapping on the desk.
I thought my phone was going crazy. We're listening to music from the game Wunderling. The track is Eviltronic Tilt from Oscar Rydelius' Ratvader.
Tectronic Panic.
This is. I like this. I love the swing to it. It's got a fun, swingy, beepy sound, which is excellent. Tell us a little bit about Wunderling. Yeah.
So Wunderling is like that one auto-running game where you only use one button in order to do things. And the thing about Wunderling is, first of all, nobody really knows. Everybody has been on the developers here about, okay, what the hell are you playing in this game? Because it looks like a fruit in this game. It's like this yellow, like, kind of represent a Goomba in this world, I would say. It is this guy that basically goes from left to right, and the hero, which is a carrot in this game, is just jumping on them. So in the beginning, you will start as playing as the hero, the carrot. And when you complete the first game, like a classic Mario game, you're noticing, oh, I'm actually going to play the bad guy in this game. So you're playing one of these Goomba characters, chasing the hero.
Oh, I like that. So after you play as the hero, which is a carrot, you start playing like a weird jelly character who's chasing after
it kind of reminds me of like a citrus, like a lemon. Citrusy fruit, because it has this like green leaf on top of.
Oh, I love that. Oh, I should have picked music from Dadish.
Oh, that would have been a great selection.
Yeah, that would have been good. Yeah, Dadish has some excellent music to it.
I'm laughing at myself, by the way, how like on the break we were discussing how I'd heard of this game, and I was like, I've been interested in this game, but I put it on a wish list to buy it later. No, I didn't. I bought it.
You bought it, of course.
It's on my Steam library. I own Wunderling.
But you said it's a one button thing. So is this on mobile as well? Is something I can just pick up on my phone?
No, it is only on PC. And the thing is, it is one button, but they kind of twisted the system of everything. So you will kind of get power-ups and so on in this game. So you will learn to fly. You will be able to do this and do that. It's just so many different things in this game.
That's cool.
I'm also going to speculate.
One thing that
I was going to say, I also speculate there's like parts in this game where, like, say, for example, the typical traditional things, like you're just running right, and you're jumping here and there, but there might be times where like running right will get you killed, so you have to find a place to be able to jump and bounce backwards to avoid being killed by what's going in front of you on the right-hand side. So, like, I think like Mario Run did something like this too, where it's like, okay, it's not simply running right and dodging things. Sometimes you got to double back, because if you don't, you'll die by what's coming ahead.
So it is a large puzzle game. You're supposed to kind of figure out the optimal way in order to collect everything or to find secrets in this game. And of course, some of these secrets are very hidden, but you will notice when you completed it that, hey, there's a secret in this world as well. And when you're playing this, there's only another twist to it as well. You will walk around and collect these flower buds. And as you collect them, you kind of prolong your life, because your character has a lifespan. So you can't run back and forth for all eternity. So you need to figure out the optimal path in order to get stuff.
So it's like those games where you have to find like the clocks to keep the clock from going under zero?
Yeah.
Okay.
Correct.
I can appreciate
but
that.
But it's definitely a good game. A lot of humor in this game. It's simply done. And in the end, it's just a great game to recommend to people that just want something simpler to play, in my opinion.
Well, I like games that have a lot of humor injected into it too, where like you wouldn't expect it. Also, I always really do appreciate that.
And I like
the kind of side characters you have is a cow, and you have this witch.
A cow and a witch.
And they're
cow,
hilarious.
a witch, and a carrot, and a weird fruit thing.
Walk into a bar.
I love it. That already sounds like a joke. Yeah.
But like I do like. For as much as I can agree to enjoying bits of complexity in my games, there's also something to be said about a game where they narrow all the controls down to a few to one scant button, but say just because we did that doesn't make the game easy. We created challenges built around one button, so you're still going to work for that win.
Oh yeah,
it's just you can't blame the controls when it goes wrong.
I know. I just got the DLC for Vampire Survivors, and I'm like, oh, this game is. Controls are extremely simple, but it is not simple at all.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
Hectic. That's what it is.
It is very hectic.
But one thing I want to name before we kind of move on on anything. So considering the soundtrack for Wunderling, and this is something fun for everybody to know, in my opinion, Oscar actually implemented a section in each and every song that is that he liked so much that he implemented it into every song of the soundtrack.
Like a little...
and we're soon getting to it in the
a
background.
leitmotif. Oh, yeah, we're listening to it now live, so...
Yeah.
I'm going to turn it up a little bit. Here we go.
So it should come now, if I remember correctly. This one. This is the part. You will hear this one in every song, but in different versions.
It does have like
It's so fucking... It's super vibey. I love it.
It's such a lighter sound than the rest of the song, which is so cute.
Exactly. But this electronic Eviltronic tilt is kind of used during a darker boss battle section. So it kind of comes forth like this melody that comes in there is kind of the hero's tune to come in and it's like,
I love that.
Do it.
Oh, I love that. Yeah. It's the theme of the hero, so it kind of gets you motivated.
Yes.
So Pernell's
keeping that
grooving.
into
I don't know if you could see him on the camera.
Grooving.
He is.
I can definitely see him on my end.
I don't know if this is going to be his workout
not good
music.
For the
It could be. It could be.
Yeah, and also as a last thing, this game was developed by Retroid, now known as Bitwave Games, which recently released the Toa Plant collection that includes the Outzone, Zero Wing, and the Twin Cobra games.
So just name that again, 'cause I'm gonna look that up.
You said Bitwave Games.
Oh no, the collection. You said it was called something.
Oh, Toa Plant.
Oh, the Toa Plant, the shooters.
Toa
Oh,
Plant,
Toho.
Yeah, I thought Toa Plant. I think I was like, you did
Toa.
say Zero Wing, right? Yeah. That's cool.
Yeah. All your base art belong to us.
It's a good one. That's a good game's pretty excellent though. Okay, Pernell, we are on to your second track.
All right. So in that case, my next track's going to come from a game that I mentioned some years ago on this very show as a very, very addictive product. This comes from the game Plantera, and the track title is called Farming On Forever, composed by Jesse Valentine. Welcome back. You're listening to Farming On Forever from the game Plantera, composed by Jesse Valentine. And if you're like me and decide to try this game out, you will be farming on forever, and therefore hearing this track, Farming On Forever, damn near forever, if not for a very long time. This game is addictive, yet simple, yet endearing. And all you are doing is growing plants with little blue men, harvesting the plants, taking the proceeds to plant more plants, to hire more blue men, to get more crops, to harvest the crops, to get more blue men, to knock down moles, to shoot down birds.
Repeat. Pernell, would you say this is like like one of those kind of Zen games where you can actually take a little bit of your time and enjoy what you're doing?
Absolutely.
Or is it more of just a work?
It's absolutely Zen. That's why I was able to click. Basically, this was years ago I got it from I do the SML, and Joe was like, "Hey, Pernell, do you want to review this game called Plantera?" And I looked at the screen. I was like, "That's a clicker game. I don't play clicker games. This is stupid. I'm not touching it." And he's like, "Oh, wait." At the time, it's like we weren't getting a lot of games coming in, so we need some content for next week. Come on, help us out. I'm like, "Okay, fine. I'll do the game." And then I booted it up. I'm like, "Okay, I'm going to click the button to hire the little blue man," and then I planted the plant. And look, the tree grew. I got oranges. I almost sell the oranges. And I just kept going. The loop maintained, and next thing I knew, hours had gone by. Not even exaggerating the hours part. And I was just still playing this game, and I had to mentally tell myself, you need to stop right now. Because if I didn't, I would have probably kept going. There's no end. It doesn't stop. And I wonder if they've added more content since I last played it. But it's... The
studio has a lot of games under its belt. I mean, this...
Is this Rydelius, though?
Yes.
Rydelius does a ridiculous
smokes.
amount of games. Like, I don't even know how to explain that company. They have like 4 games a week, it feels like. Rydelius Games.
So they're basically working casual-wise then, because that is something you can usually see within the mobile market, for example. Working on easy games that they can just publish really quickly and so on.
Yeah, and that's
utilized mainly to kind of get into a good standard portfolio.
I think it's a combination of that, but they also tend to like gravitate towards like, I guess, like younger, like new developers and say, "Hey, we are willing to put some money behind your game because we can sell it at a low price point, and we are confident enough in it to get some money." But every once in a while, I'll come up with some other games. Like Rob actually has a few on the screen right now where when they first started releasing them, I was shocked.
Yeah, they did some. It looks like they did some emulation ports.
Yes.
For Moto Rotor, for the PC Engine, they did Glay Lancer.
Mm-hmm. Now let's get good. Real quick, though, Moto Rotor is a weird one. So, for those who are fans of the TurboGrafx 16, Moto Rotor was one of those racing games where the screen kind of scrolled, and if your car fell off the back, it got warped forward. But Moto Rotor MC was like a remote, like a tiny like RC car racing game.
Oh, Miimote control. The the style looks a lot like the Micro Machines game for the NES, which I really enjoyed that.
It's pretty fun. It is a fun game, but coming at it having like, "Oh wow, Moto Rotor's back," I was like, "This isn't Moto Rotor. What is this?" But once I was able to not think about Moto Rotor and just play it for what it was, I had a lot of fun with it.
Yeah. Oh wow, this is really cool. We'll have links to. I want to put links to this the studio's website on our the show notes because there's so many games to look at, and Plantera looks adorable.
And if you're Electric Boogaloo, you know about Glay Lancer and Avenging Spirit.
So Glay Lancer's classic. All right. So my second track is coming from a game that I have played the heck out of. It's Spiritfarer. It's called The Song of Growth. It's kind of an in-game song that's like an event to make your plants grow a little bit faster. And it makes me so sad every time I hear it. This is Spiritfarer. The artist is Max LL. This is The Song of Growth. All right, that was The Song of Growth from Spiritfarer. That was by Max LL. So in the game, you have multiple gardens that you can grow things. It's a lot of crafting in this game. And there's a character, one of the first characters you get on the boat. Her name is Summer, and she is a snake. And Summer Snake, and she has like a little cloak on, and she plays the sitar, and she's obsessed with plants. And she teaches you a song you can play on your guitar to make the plants grow more. And it's like a little mini rhythm game that you can play. Which we played this game twice. So the first playthrough, it goes through this little mini game and then it's over. And I was like, oh, that's cute. But I never saw it again. Mm-hmm. Apparently, you can do it anytime you want to speed the game up.
So the next time it made the game more efficient?
Yeah, much more efficient. But he heard the song over and over and over again. And I forgot her name was Summer. We called her because the character, it's a snake, but it's actually the main character's aunt. Or aunt's wife or aunt's girlfriend. And so we called her Aunt Hiss.
Aww.
And she was great. I loved her so much. And every once in a while, she had an event where a large dragon would come. And eventually, you would learn that was the metaphor for her breast cancer.
The dragon was?
The dragon was, yeah.
Wow.
It's really good. It's really, really good. So, when she left, it was so, so sad. So her playing this, when the sitar comes up in the song, that's her playing with you. And you keep hearing it every time you do this. So even though she's gone and like moved on to the other side,
she's still with you.
You hear the sitar and you're like, oh, that's so nice.
She's still here with us.
I love this game so much, and but yeah,
it is beautiful interacting with the characters on your boat. I just love walking around, feeding them, and giving them hugs. Especially that frog character. He gets so happy when you hug him.
The frog loves that. My favorite is there's he looks like a bird, and he's so like. I don't know, there's something about his personality. He doesn't like hugs all the time. So when you can get a hug on him, it's so nice. But most of the time he's like, no, not right now. No, too many people around. No, it's fine. Don't worry about it. And then you get a hug and you're like, oh, yeah. There's one character who, if you go for a hug, you make them madder. You can't hug them.
They don't like hugs.
They don't want to hug. They're super particular, and it's
like a puzzle game, getting to know these characters. That's just super fun.
But it's very much like a puzzle. But you also learn like that makes their personalities more real. They are based on real people.
And there's also something to be said about the fact that in a lot of games, hugs would just be like a thing you do to raise affinity with characters, like just a flat statement.
Yeah.
Whereas in this game, it's kind of like what Kris was saying, where it was like. Whereas normally it's like anybody takes hugs and they all get raised up. It's like, nah, you kind of have to know who you're dealing with, because if you don't, well, it's not so simple as just mash the affinity button. It's like, no, this character likes hugs. This character likes food. This character likes music.
Well, they almost all like food, and they all like specific types of food. Yeah. Like the one
they have dislikes and what they love.
Yeah, someone like, oh, I only like really simple food like rice and this and that. And someone's like, oh, I only like pub food, because like, and it starts to make sense because it was in their living life in their previous life. It's what they loved, and so now in the afterlife, you're trying to like kind of give them and evoke those memories so that they can kind of remember who they were before moving on.
Does the game kind of give you like a sort of a log that you can maintain, where like later on you can just go back and like refresh, like what was this character like, and it kind of collect some information on them?
I think so. I'm sure there is. I didn't look at it that much. I just experienced it.
I don't remember having. So if somebody passed on, I don't think you have the information of them anymore. Because when you interact with them, you will have that menu.
There's a room that you can go to that you can build that has like a little projector, and I think that you can just replay certain events and replay some music. There's like a lounge you can play some of the music.
That would be good,
well.
Because I feel like that's the kind of game where I feel like
I didn't
you
really
experience
use it.
it firsthand. You're just like, maybe I want to go back and look up some of my highlight memories from Aunt Hiss, as you said.
Yeah.
And like, oh, I remember when we did the thing with her there. That was great. You know?
Well, after a while, because like if you progress their stories and like give them what they want and follow like their quest line, they eventually do move on.
Yeah.
And once you realize that and you start to like these characters, you stop doing their quests. And you just keep them on the boat and do other people's quests.
And I feel like that's why like things like those weird, like those memorials or like the video reel that you're describing, that's the concept that I'll be like, she's gone, but she's never really gone. Because if I ever want to relive, I got my photo album here, and I can just relive the highlights of what we experienced together on the boat. You know?
I like that too. I like the feeling. That their experiences continue on the boat.
Yeah.
Mm.
What were you going to say, Kris?
Considering this, Rob, you've played a lot of this game. I know that for a fact.
Yeah.
Considering what you experienced with this game, what would you say was the most impactful moment for you playing this game? Because I know it's a lot of difference for everybody.
Yeah, I think the most it was the ending. The ending. It felt because it wasn't a surprise, like it was telegraphed a mile away. You could see it coming, but it didn't make it any easier. You know.
That goes to show you what a good ending can be. Like when people like to make comments, which you're not doing here, by the way. Even if you were to say I've spoiled this for somebody, it's almost like saying the ending being spoiled doesn't even ruin it because we all knew this was going to happen.
Yeah.
But seeing it happen is what makes it special.
Also, it does this thing that I really love in video games where it doesn't spell everything out clearly. You know, like you don't know what the main character's background is in the world. You don't know who all of these characters truly were in relationship to her until much, much later on. And it doesn't tell you like this person was your uncle, this person was this or that. Like you slowly learn these stories and they never fully spell it out for you. And I really enjoy games that allow you to create those connections in your head because everyone kind of creates their own experiences with these games.
And just to make sure, too,
like Tunic did that
the
very
characters
well.
themselves don't know this either, right? Like the frog's not talking like, "Hi, niece, what are you doing on the boat?"
I think the frog does. I think the frog knows that. And some of them do, but like the bird, he's like an engineer, you know, and like a decorator. Like I don't know, I'm not sure how you really know that guy, but like they're all part of her life somehow.
Oh, okay.
And it's important to know that because she's doing the journey. And I will agree with Kris, like the crafting and the traveling, it takes a lot of the game. And by the end of it, it's kind of it's a little tedious where it kind of gets in the way of the storytelling.
Like I want to hear more about the characters. I don't feel like making the rice.
Yeah, I know. There's a lot.
Exactly.
I don't have to pulverize the rock to do this, to make the logs, to make the thing, and then I can get off the island, you know. It's just keeps going.
Don't forget this minigame you need to play for this.
Yeah.
Oh, you need to travel around the world in order to get this resource.
So it's not for everybody, but I really, if you're looking for something similar and easygoing, this is the game, the easygoing game about death. All right, so we're going to turn this track down, and we're getting to the part of the show we call the bonus round.
Bonus round is the time to start. There goes Rob to announce the part.
I like that one. I like when my name's in it. The bonus rounds where we play covers, remixes, and arrangements on our theme. Kris, I mean, do you get a chance to play a lot of like covers and arrangements on your show at all?
I love remixes. I try to do it once in a while. I try to focus basically in my show on the less listened because everybody else is playing like the famous music from video games. And once in a while, I like to pick up one of my favorites when it comes to remixes. And this track we're going to listen to today is actually a song I listened to back in the day when it was released, and I loved it. So I'm definitely going to bring some more rock into this salad.
Rock salad.
Thank you for bringing it back. So yeah, this was interesting when I was looking up the information on this one. But this is Laura Shigihara, the composer of Plants vs. Zombies, but covered by a group called Dungeon Elite, right?
Yes, correct. And this is the song "Zombies on Your Lawn."
Zombies on your lawn.
There's a zombie.
Which is funny. I thought Dungeon Elite sounded like a game, so I thought the game was Dungeon Elite, and that the band was called Zombies on Your Lawn. But
Dungeon Elite.
Yeah.
And in case you don't remember, so this was when we did the parody for XVGM Radio. We were doing like the episode with them. This is the composer that was like, oh, I love Laura Shigihara. She's the best.
Oh, that's right. Oh, yeah. You were like the crazy. You loved her so much.
Like Shiggy baby.
Shiggy baby.
There's a zombie on your lawn. There's a zombie on your lawn. There's a zombie on your lawn. We don't want zombies on the lawn. I know you're tired, so dark and dead. You want to bite all the petals off of my head. And underneath the brains of the one who played me here. I'm just a sunflower, but
That was amazing. Unexpected and awesome. Kris.
You're more than welcome. I like surprising my audience.
I love right before we started the track, I was joking about, I wonder how this would sound if she did like a screamo version of her own song or something. And he's like, well, actually,
you should just
start the track.
It's coming up.
Start the track.
What do you know Dungeon Elite, the group, Kris?
I actually read up a little bit on this. The group has actually split, but this group was Italian-based from Roma and consisting of 3 members. Fada, who basically does the screaming part of this in the zombies. We have Becco on synthesizers and vocals, and lastly Maya, who was singing the vocals, the girl. And they describe their music style as techno, grindcore, and emotronic. Emotronic.
Yeah.
And that basically is related to old Nintendo sounds and hardcore rock, along with female vocals. But the band is no more. They've been around all around to 2015, and today the band only consists of Fada and another new member called Morden.
Well, at least they're still producing in some capacity, at least. Just sad that it's not the full ensemble anymore.
I mean, some of the people, our artists have to change themselves, So I always appreciate when they move on and do their different things and
spread their wings and fly.
Spread their wings, yeah, or just go in different directions. But that was crazy for them to. But
I'm super happy that you enjoyed this.
Yeah, I enjoyed that a lot.
It's not that often that you hear something that is kind of nice, mellow, like the original song "Zombies on Your Lawn," which is the end song of the game Plant vs. Zombies. To get to this hardcore screaming, it is very surprising. But for some reason, it fits very well.
I know it worked, and I was actually kind of mentally laughing when the guy starts screaming the zombie, because I remember in the original song he goes, "We are the undead," and then he's like, "Yeah." It's like, okay, then. Very different tone, but I am happy with this.
Extremely different sound. All right, Pernell, you've got something a little more in your maybe in your wheelhouse, right?
Absolutely do. So the reason why I even found this track is because I was looking for the previous track and I couldn't find it, but instead I came across this from a game I've never played, which prompted me to look up the game itself to see if this track truly fit the show. And it does, so we're going with it. This comes from the game Terraria, and the track title is called the Plantera theme, the intense symphonic metal cover done by a couple artist I've put on the show multiple times at this point named FalKkone. Welcome back. You just listened to the Plantera Intense Symphonic Metal cover from the game Terraria. Covered by FalKkone. And yeah, surprisingly, this track, while not this heavy in the game, is actually fairly heavy for the game Terraria. Now, I hadn't personally played this game before. I'm familiar with it, and due to me looking into this game to see if this track was fitting for the show, I came across what Plantera was, which is actually a boss fight within the game that you come across where it's just like a plant pod that kind of travels by using its vines to grab the walls and stretch itself around.
Yeah. When I was searching for Plantera, the game, I kept finding Plantera, the boss from Terraria.
Yeah.
in the Google results.
Because apparently this is a very popular track and this is a very popular boss. But the weird part about it is, I think it stems from having not personally gotten to the game, is the fact that the boss fight just seemed kind of like, I can't get excited for this. But I also would guess that if you were playing the game and you were understanding of the mechanics for the game and what it takes to do the things that you're doing, it's probably like, oh crap, this boss is hard because I got to keep dodging. But the game's not really built for like manic gameplay.
Yeah, it's built for just building things and scrolling around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like, I do want to play this though. I'm gonna probably buy it this week. We'll see.
Don't buy it. It's gonna be one. It's 2 years from now. You're gonna be like, oh, there it is.
I have a stack.
Or you probably already have it.
No, not this game. I don't. This game I don't.
All right. So my next track is in, just so we can all remember my favorite low tier Marvel vs. Capcom 2 character, the fighting cactus.
Oh, it is him.
Amingo.
It is Amingo. That's a callback that was already in the wings.
Doesn't have his own track, but we do have some fantastic music from Marvel vs. Capcom 2. This is the River Stage music. It's a remix composed by Tetsuya Shibata, Mitsuhiko Takano. This remix is by Lucky Rick.
aka fighting.
Everybody was fighting gaming.
This was the River Stage remix, Marvel Capcom 2. Tetsuya Shibata, Mitsuhiko Takano, remixed by Lucky Rick. Kind of not really a remix, but more of like a rearrangement of the tune. And we were talking about like
it's
how
like
we
a remaster almost.
Yeah, almost a remaster. Yeah, the we were talking about how like when this game came out, people were upset. A lot of gamers were upset about the music because it was very like soft jazz.
Yeah, like it didn't feel fitting for a fighting game. But the odd thing about it is you fast forward to the present,
it works.
And it's
so
one of the
well.
most iconic ones.
Yeah, and it works. Like for the
Skullgirls
3-on-3. Yeah, Skullgirls is a great example.
Yeah,
but like
a lot of brass.
But people complain about this stuff all the time. Like when Third Strike came out, people were like, "Oh, rap music in my fighting game? That's terrible. No, we need like a theme. Like we need like the Ryu theme and the Chun-Li theme."
My name is Ryu, and I'm here to say I'm going all the Hadoukens in a major way.
And we're coming
up and down, going to quarter circle punch.
Now that is probably the best rap music. Why aren't you in Street Fighter 6? Street Fighter 6 has got like a whole like kind of street urban theme. street urban theme.
Come on, I got Kimberly's OST theme right here.
Yeah. And I'm like, you're gonna be like, oh, my name is Ryu, and I'm gonna punch you.
You got the U's.
I'm just hoping we will be getting a new Indestructible.
People made a lot of jokes about
punchable.
that, but like, I look, it's a good song. It's a really good song.
Yeah, it is.
Street Fighter
like
4
it.
was the first Street Fighter game I purchased since like freaking Alpha 3.
Yeah.
And it's only the second I'd ever purchased. And I remember bopping the Indestructible like in my house, like
but again, fighting game players complaining about the music. They complained about that, but the rest, I mean, not so much about the rest of the music in the game. Just like that was like the weird boy band like intro. But it's listening back on it, it's a solid song.
I mean, some respects, I kind of get the general.
Is really good.
It's very good. Very
like
good.
I do kind of get the concern or the issue though, but it becomes unfounded once you get used to it. Which is that I think of it's almost like when I always talk about games where I want the tempo to be up to get me into the action of the game I'm playing. So if a fighting game is happening, my general thought is I need like a Guilty Gear OST, something that gets you pumped. You know, because I'm literally going out there beating the snot out of people match after match. So to be like, I won't let you go.
I know. These fighting game players,
Punch!
especially the ones who play like professionally or they go to tournament, they play so much that I guarantee half of them just have the music just turned off because you've heard it so many times. You're listening to a podcast.
I can see that.
You're listening to Rhythm and Pixels. All right, so for more information on the bonus round, you can go to rhythmandpixels.com. We'll have links to the SoundClouds, Bandcamps, SoundClamps, studio audio things from Apple Music. All the links to go. You can go to download, buy the music, support these artists. All right, thank you everybody for joining us on episode 36-3 of Rhythm and Pixels. This is Plants with Kris. Kris.
It was an honor joining in.
There's a Shinstrom on our show.
Yeah, Kris from Gameable Audio, VGM Podcast. Thank you very, very much for joining us, hanging out, and just putting up with us for a good past 2 hours.
It's really been fun, too. Like, because we've been...
I've been looking forward to this for so long.
Good, yeah.
So.
I did let this Discord chat die for about a month.
Baby time with you and all. Like, for me, I'm like we chat with like Kris through like Discord often, and he's been one. I would say I might be misremembering, but you were probably one of our earliest supporters too. And
I was quite early.
Yeah, and you've always been around and been cool. And then when we finally got the Discord running, we were actually able to communicate and just talk game. And once you started doing Gameable Audio, you were more into the community talking too.
Yeah, as the kids say, he's a real one.
He's a real. Oh, jeez, no cap, no cap. He's a real one, for real. Oh man, but yeah, we are glad that
indestructible.
He is indestructible. You are indestructible. But repeat to our listeners again the name of your show and where they can find you and your work.
Yes, for me, Gameable Audio is a video game music podcast where I put the composers in the spotlight, and you will be able to find Gameable Audio basically anywhere where you can find a podcast, even on Spotify. And I usually post all my episodes on videospelsklubben.se, which is the main page where I'm hanging out, the community that releases a lot of different podcasts. But mainly all the podcasts are in Swedish, except mine, and I think there's like 2 other podcasts.
Well, we English speakers always appreciate other English speakers, especially when we're listening to a podcast.
Exactly.
But no, that's
way easier.
Yeah, a little easier for us. So yeah, thank you very much for joining us. But if you would like, the listener, would like to find out more about our show, get a full track listing from this episode, and get access to all of our episodes, please go to the website
rhythmandpixels.com.
And for if you want to talk to us, if you want to send us a track suggestion, a topic suggestion, or if you're in a band or if you're a remix artist and you want to let us know about your music, let us know. Send us an email.
rhythmandpixels@hotmail.com.
We also have a 24/7 YouTube station playing 8-bit and 16-bit classics and deep cuts at youtube.com/rhythmandpixels. And if you want to support us, please just tell people about the show. That'd be fantastic.
And if you can somehow get Anamanaguchi to come on our show, that'd be even better.
That'd be really cool, actually. I wouldn't mind that.
Have you tried contacting
That'd be a nice.
We haven't, but we should.
No, but we will. We will. It's getting guests on.
Should then.
It's scheduling guests right now for me is difficult, and I think going into this little endeavor, my wife and I was like, I am not going to have guests for a while, and we've had 2 guests since.
And we got another one like in the wings right now.
Yeah, so it's I'm gonna try to just pace them out.
I mean, it is a honest thing of giving and receiving. So you're getting some time to get the guest on, and you will give time back to the baby.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, tenfold.
Yeah.
And
And then one thing I thought about too was just the idea that, let's say for example, it comes to the point where it's like, okay, crap, this is how I played out, where it's like guest here and then a guest here, which falls outside the normal regimen. It can be like, well, the episodes are primed, but we don't have to release them immediately.
No,
just parse it out.
The release schedule isn't the problem. It's the I don't know who's calling it. The release schedule isn't the problem. The problem is the recording schedule. That's not an issue. Anyway, you can also support us by going to Patreon. Patreon.com/rhythmandpixels. As a member there at all levels, you get access to live streamed episodes that we do once a month. I think we're a little bit late on that for March, but we'll get on to that. We also get cool stuff like stickers and mugs and exclusive t-shirts. And you get all that there at our Patreon. Patreon.com/rhythmandpixels. And at the end of every episode, we like to thank all of our members who are at the highest tiers. So we'd first like to thank Brooke and Corey Clark and Khalid. 3 of you, thank you very, very much for continuing your support of us. We also want to thank Kristen, GamePan44, Martyrus, host of the ReVGM podcast, Mike Myers, Vashin8060, Super Game Station, www.supergamestation.com, Antmaster, Brian Pitt, Cameron Werma, Carlos, Kung Fu Carlito, host of the Heroes 3 podcast, a podcast about Asian cinema and Kung Fu movies, Chris Weisner, a.k.a. Musashi219.
The wise guy.
Christopher Senstrom, host of Game Audio podcast. Thank you, Chuck Kowalski, David Cakes, David Good, David Taylor, Enchilada Rigol, Harold Howard, Triple Jeff. Did we just start calling him Triple Jeff?
Jeez, the Try Jeff.
Try Jeff. I don't even know where that name came from anymore. Justin Schneider, host of XVGM Radio, Keith Shusterman, Michael Bridgewater, Rage Cage, host of the VG Emporium podcast, Reinhard Silkova, Romancing Sagat, Sleepy Smart, Steve Miller, Taco, Zach Thornbach. All of you, thank you very much, and many, many more for supporting our show. We truly, truly appreciate everything that you do for us.
We really, really do, especially in recent changes. You guys have been like, we're still good with you, and we hope you still enjoy the show. And thanks for hanging out with us.
Yeah, our release schedule is just a little bit longer than it was before. But I just did not want to take a hiatus. I just kind of wanted to just stretch it out a little bit. Yeah,
I can dig that.
Yeah, and we'll be back into weeklies soon enough.
And I gotta say though, the second benefit, because obviously the main benefit is you can spend more time with your family.
Right.
The other benefit is, oddly enough, having a 2-week window instead of a 1 week makes choosing tracks so much easier.
A little bit, yeah. We have a little bit more time to to put things together for a show. That is absolutely true.
And it makes also us addictives who really enjoys your podcast more like, oh, they released an episode now. Inject.
Gives you time to. For me, I like for these podcasts, I do enjoy other video game music podcasts, and a lot of them are an hour and a half to 2 hours long, and I can't listen to them before the next completely until the next episode comes out. So I'm always falling behind. So I'm like, oh well, maybe people can actually finish our episodes. There's one person who's on our Discord who's trying to catch up to all of our episodes.
F-U-R... Yeah. F-R-U-R-R-Y.
Nick Frury.
Nick Frury.
But
yeah, he's been on fire.
And I'm like, oh, okay, I'm not going to let him catch up. We're going to do double episodes a week. But instead, we do...
He outpaced you. He outpaced you.
Finally caught up with us. But anyway, thank you all so much for listening to our show. Thank you again, Kris, for joining us today. We truly appreciate it.
It was a lot of fun, and I'm glad we were able to discuss some delicious cartoons and candies.
Talk cartoons, talk some candy,
delicious
talk some
cartoons.
Music. And thank you very much for listening. We'll see you next episode. This has been Rhythm and Pixels. My name is Rob Nichols.
And I'm Pernell.
Have a great week.
And remember, you don't need to have a green thumb to be a fan of botany or plant, preservation. Quite frankly, there is a plant for anybody. Like, if you're the type that sucks at watering your plants, there are plants for that. If you're someone who doesn't get a lot of sun in your home, there's a plant for that. If you love being outside, well, you bet your sweet Bixby, there's tons of plants for that. But the point is, taking care of plants is known to do a wonder on your mental state, your psyche, and it just feels good to be taking care of a thing and seeing your efforts bear fruit, so to speak. So it's just worth saying, don't discount the effects, the positive benefits of plant rearing. look into getting a plant today. I don't know. Have a good night.